So welcome to Motivational Mondays with the little spark. That would be me, Luann Beekler. And thanks for coming this evening or listening in later. I wanted to remind people this evening of why I started Motivational Mondays. And I don't know about you, but usually on Sunday night, I get into this little panic. Let me rephrase that. Historically, because I don't do it anymore. Historically, I would get into this little stressed out panic on Sunday nights about all the things that I had to do in the week. And so then Monday mornings were a challenge, and it's just not a good way to start the week. And so if other people have weeks like that, I just want to get together on Monday nights at 6:30 and get everybody into a positive mindset, into an even flow for the week. I'm happy to coach people on these calls if they want to come with a challenge that they're facing or something they're working through. I'm happy to have those conversations. To this point, I've been interviewing some people and bringing them on board to share information that I can record and broadcast out. So Naomi is here with us tonight, and welcome. And so throughout the conversation, please feel free to let us know if you have any questions or input to share with us. Okay, Naomi?
Okay.
And so I was going to start this evening because last week I was gone and I just sent out a video clip instead of having my live broadcast on Monday evening, as I was on my transformational trek into the Boundary Waters canoe area, which is an event that my sister and I do, and we take women into the Boundary Waters, into the wilderness for 5 days of peace and relaxation and personal development, stretching ourselves a little bit and getting out of the normal daily routine to do something different. Our motto throughout the trip is adventure forward. What is life's adventure for us today? What can we see, experience, test in ourselves a little bit? The wilderness is one of my favorite places to be. It is my bliss. It is my bliss. And I separate from all the chaos, no computers, no technology. And if you've ever been in the Boundary Waters canoe area or a wilderness spot like that, where it's total silence, there's no hint of a car noise or any white noise from the world coming in. All you get is that which is nature. And in the Boundary Waters, I've noticed, don't even hear a ton of animal sounds except the loons at night. And so you can hear the wind, it's like hearing it. You know what that means? In fact, one morning I got up and there was mist across the lake. And the wind was blowing it, and I'm like, I can see the wind. I can see the wind today. We so rarely take the time to get into that peaceful state. And I practice meditation on a regular basis to bring me into that place, but to have it for 5 days. I said to Jane earlier today, I said, it's now my mission, my intention to carry that feeling with me on every day. And I've always said, and I'm sure other people have heard this before as well, calmer minds prevail. Calmer minds prevail. The more peaceful that we can be in ourselves, in our body, and flow through life in a more peaceful state, the better decisions that we make. The easier it is to get through things that appear to be challenging. When someone throws something at you, car accident perhaps, or whatever it is that gets in your way in that day, it's easier to go, guess what? I'm okay. And it's going to be okay because you're carrying that peaceful feeling. So I don't know, Jane, do you practice meditation?
I'm a little random in my practice. I do different things at different times. So I think the honest answer would be I have practiced meditation, but I don't necessarily maintain a consistent practice. And so now I'm more into a walking meditation or something more active than just a sitting or necessarily getting into the silence. But I completely agree with you about the will. That's one of the things I love is getting outside, being in nature. I'm very physical myself, so I'm a big kayaker. I love getting out kayaking, and so that's, being out on the water and, just kayaking and kind of being silent, being in my own space, and but the physicality of it is part of it that I really enjoy. And more so than, the traditional sort of,
I understand.
Om.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
And I was on a kayaking retreat earlier this summer. I've been traveling a lot this summer. I've had a great deal of blessings. And in that retreat, that's the first time I've kayaked. And kayaking is just a little different than canoeing.
Yeah.
There's a real rhythm in it, right?
Yeah.
We were in two-man kayaks, and we got into a real rhythm with our paddles that really put us in a different state.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. Whether it's a meditation practice, a prayer practice, getting outdoors, anything that gets you away from all of life's challenges and day-to-day tasks. I've talked about this before on the call, is that I tend to be a task-oriented person, and stepping out of that and into a flow.
Yeah.
And into a flow is really where I want my life to be, and hope to help others. And one of my lines is, when you get connected to your life's flow, everything comes easier.
Indeed.
Which is interesting. Welcome, Sharita. Which is interesting, too, because they're talking about the Money and Life Freedom course, which I should introduce Jane. Jane Cabrera is here with us this evening from the Money and Life Freedom course. And I have some background noise. Sure.
Yeah.
Anita, I think it's coming from you. Can you mute yourself? I should be able to mute all. How do I do that?
Just don't mute me.
I'm in a wheelchair. Everybody feels sorry for me and has sex with me because I can't use my legs.
Sure.
How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. Here we go. I can do it.
There we go.
So I apologize for that. What was I saying? Oh, right. The Money and Life Freedom course. I was introducing Jane. Jane Cabrera is here with us. She's one of the instructors for the Money and Life Freedom course that I attended last September. And if you've been listening to my Monday calls, you've met Tanya Villar, who's from that program as well, and she's spoken to us before. And so Jane is here tonight to share some conversation about that program, and I'd like to share how it's benefited me. And so what came to me in this moment was really, when I talk about getting into life's flow, it's getting into the flow with currency, right?
Yeah.
So one of the aha moments I had at the Money and Life Freedom course was that constant conversation around currency. Money is just currency, like electricity is currency, and we need to keep the flow going. And so it's getting into that flow with currency in my life. And maybe you can add to that, Jane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I think it's a great concept. And, when we talk about money, I think people have so many preconceived notions, and a lot of times we're also coming in from very different perspectives. A lot of our preconceived notions are based in fear. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and a lot of valid reasons for that. I don't want to make it sound like that the fear is not based in something tangible. I think a lot of us have parents or grandparents that grew up in the Depression era and collectively experienced an enormous amount of fear around money. And so a lot of those feelings and beliefs around money have been transferred on to, future generations. And here we are now in a different world, a different economic situation, but we still feel a lot of that emotional residue that came from our families. With regard to the currency aspect of it, I do agree. Money is currency. Money is, it functions much like electricity or much like water in that it flows. And, if you look at tides, tides come in and tides go out. There's movement and motion, which is also true of money. And another analogy I like to use is, money is a tool. It's not that different than, say, a kitchen knife. I can use my kitchen knife to cut up fruit, and I can create a beautiful, colorful fruit platter. Or, I can cut myself and hurt myself. It's a tool. And I think one of the things that gets confusing is we've ascribed so much like power, or there's so much mythology around money. We think, money is power, and, money is evil. And there's all these things that we think about. But when you come down to it, it's not that different than my kitchen knife. The power is in me, the power is in you.
Right.
And money is a tool. So that's another way I like to think of it.
So, so we talk about, in the event business, we talk about people investing, or even in the coaching business, right?
Uh-huh.
People find more value when they invest in something. Like, you don't give it away for free because they find more value in it when they invest in it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can. This is a really important concept. And it really has to do with, it's funny, we were talking earlier, I just did a talk this week about the difference between information and transformation. And, so the thing about giving it away for free is the person, so if I come to a free workshop, I'm going to come in and check out the information and see if I agree or disagree with it. It's information. But we have so much information. We're inundated with information. There's books and this and that. And a lot of us, read a lot of books or attend a lot of seminars, but we still feel that even though I've read all this stuff, and especially with money, I'm still having the same experience with money. I still feel, I don't have enough, or I only have enough for everybody else. There's not enough for me. And that experience stays the same. So how do we get from taking in information to actually having a different experience? And the different experience is what we call transformation. It's actually transformed me. It's transformed who I am, who I'm being, or how I'm interacting in the world in such a way that I get a different result. And one of the things that I think is critically important, and take, for example, our workshop. When you invest in the workshop, the money that you invest is a significant exchange. Before you invest in this workshop, you're going to think, am I really going to use that information? And when you decide, yes, I really want it, that the exchange of money actually changes the commitment level. When I'm investing my money, I am going to be committed to learning the information, and I'm going to be committed to using it, to trying it out, practicing it, seeing how it works in my life, and utilizing the resources of the instructors and so forth to make sure that I get the most value out of the money that I've spent. Does that make sense?
Yes. In that I'm going to make a stronger commitment to the process. And transformation is a journey of self, right? And every tool that I get adds to my toolkit to transform my life. I mean, when I became a passion test facilitator, that was one transformation. And every time I deliver that workshop to someone, I might have different small transformations. Right? But it's creating the journey over time. I've been now facilitating the passion test for 6 years, and my life has completely changed who I am in the world, right?
Right.
I be in the world. And that's part of why I teach it, because then I own it and I live it more, right? And Money and Life Freedom, the first time I picked up a lot of great information, and I'm coming back again to pick up more great information, because it takes that. I mean, I tell people all the time as an event manager or conference manager that if you take one thing, whether you attended a 3-hour conference or a 3-day conference or a week-long conference, if you truly apply one thing that you learned in your life and make a change, it was worth your time and energy and money and whatever you invested in it. Because all too often we go and we gather the information, like you said, Jane, and we love it while we're there. We think this is really cool, but we never apply any of it.
Absolutely.
I love about the Money and Life Freedom course is that you guys have a 40-day, is it
40-day action plan? Yes.
That's post-course, so that you're actually applying what you learn. And that, to me, makes the difference. It sets this course apart from other ones, besides the content, of course, which is great.
Yeah, but the 40-day action plan is actually a huge piece, because there's so much you can do, so much you can learn, and so many ahas that you can get in a weekend. And because it's an experiential weekend, it is a significant event. You can come out with significant insight and learning.
Absolutely.
But the process, the 40-day action plan, and what we encourage people to do is pick only one thing that you're going to work on for those 40 days. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying don't live the rest of your life. I'm not suggesting the rest of your life isn't lived, but that you're picking one area, one thing that you want to create. And for purposes of our work, you're going to focus on that, practicing those skills day after day for 40 days, so that you can really get into the practice and develop the new skill. And we call it like having your training wheels on. You're doing that in an environment where you still have access to the instructors. You still have access to us to ask questions and get that coaching, especially when it's difficult, because our experience is learning a new skill does take time, and sometimes it can be frustrating. There can be stumbling blocks, and our work is not about always focusing on feeling positive or saying the positive things. Our work really expands into what our the reality of the human condition.
Right.
Is that you are going to have ups and you're going to have downs. And it's the downs where people have the tendency to give up. And that's where we want to really be there to provide the support and the tools to handle those low points. Not to deny, we're not going to deny that it's going to happen. We don't deny that you're going to have those low emotions and those low feelings. We're actually going to work with them and teach you how to be resilient enough to flow with them. Going back to the flow, part of the ability to stay in the flow is the ability to ride the wave when it's up, but also to stay the course when it's down and you're feeling like crap,
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I just ran into a dear friend and was having this conversation, and he goes, kind of in the downhill right now, but what I know is I always come up again, right? And when you can know that and stick with it and stay calm through the process is when life becomes easier, right?
Yes.
Those waves.
And something that you keyed in when you started this session was we actually like to use that down period. That down period is actually a gold mine of information. You can get some of your best transformational learning out of those dips. And when you're in that downtime, that is the time to really slow it down and pay attention and notice what's going on. Because if you capture that, if you capture what's happening with me when I'm in that low point, that's that's information that you can use. And that's where we can really achieve transformation with people. So we're not trying to avoid or, always stay in the positive affirmation. No, no, no. And not that we're saying, I want you to feel bad or go into a low point. The thing is that when you do, there's so much we can get from that. And so we're working with all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can appreciate those times. And so I think another thing I'd like to say is it's also about creating a community, right? A community of people who are like-minded, who are approaching life the same way, who are going through the same learning, that you can gain support, not only from the instructors, but from the other people that will be attending the course. And
that's a key point. And I'm going to say that was critically important for me, for my learning. What I can say is there's the way I experienced it was, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And for me, there were times that someone else in the room was talking about something and I was like, I feel the same way, or I've experienced the same thing, but I never had the insight or the language to even describe it until someone else described it.
Sure.
And so the power of other people is sometimes what someone else is able to articulate was something that I was experiencing, but truly was not able to articulate it for myself. I didn't have the insight. So other people's experience provided so much learning and so much insight for me that was so helpful to me on my own journey. And you're right about the community there to support you in your learning, because like we said, sometimes the learning can be tough going. To have others that have been there saying, okay, we know where you're at. I know what this feels like. This is the next step. This is what you want to do right now. It's so beneficial and valuable.
Absolutely. Jane, I know that you need to get onto another call.
I do.
I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to finish this conversation up with these lovely ladies.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for being with us tonight, Jane. Thanks for all that great info.
Okay, bye.
So Jane has to go off to a call at 7 o'clock that she's going to be giving regarding the Money and Life Freedom course that's coming up, all the people who are currently registered. But since we talked about that so much, I want to let you know that I invited them to bring the Money and Life Freedom course to Minnesota so that I could go again because I loved it so much, and that hopefully my friends and followers here in Minnesota would have more access. Of course, you can come from anywhere in the world if you're listening to this. The dates of the course are August 26th through the 28th. That's just about 12 days away, something like that. And so we'd love to have you join us if you're interested at all in changing your relationship with money. And there's a special deal right now going on, that a deep discount for a second person. If you have a friend or family member that would like to come with you, you can go to moneyandlifefreedom.com, moneyandlifefreedom.com, all spelled out, or my website, luannb.com, which is easier, luannb.com in my event section, and you can click through to find more information about the Money and Life Freedom course and how you can register to join us and learn more from Jane and Tanya, and I'll be there to support you as part of community. And speaking of community, that's really what I wanted to create with these Monday night motivational calls, is bringing together people who need community, who want a community of like-minded people, who need some support, and just to be available to people for that opportunity, free of charge, and to start the week out right. And so I hope that you enjoyed our conversation this evening, and you can unmute yourselves if you have any questions. We have a few minutes left. Naomi, I see you unmuted yourself. Did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I kind of, to be honest with you, I was like totally lost, not knowing what you're talking about. You're talking about a course, a getaway course, or?
So yeah, it's a workshop. It's a 3-day workshop, and we're having it in Minneapolis. Like I said, the 26th through the 28th. I make sure I got my dates right by getting to my calendar here real quickly. Yeah, August 26th through the 28th. And so what I learned from that program is about my relationship with money and getting into the flow with money in my life. And it's not an overnight sensation. I'm not going to tell you you're going to walk away and suddenly be a millionaire or anything, but it's about shifting your mindset around that and being at peace and flow with it. And so there's 3 instructors. Jane, who was on with us, is one of those. Tanya, who has been on my calls before, is another one. And so I just invited Jane to share with us there ad hoc about what her feelings are around the flow of money in our lives. And if you're interested in the course, then you can come join us.
Can you send me more information about it?
Naomi, yeah, absolutely. Do I have your email address?
I'm putting it in right now.
Okay, excellent. That's perfect. Charlita, did you unmute yourself? Do you have any questions?
I pretty much came in a little bit late at the last minute. Maybe I've been in here about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, I will be posting the recording on my Facebook page. So
Okay, because I'm actually in North Carolina.
You're in North Carolina?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, glad you were on the call tonight. Hopefully you can come again in the future. And like I said, I'll make sure the recording is out on my Facebook page so that you could listen to it again if you'd like.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Naomi, I am not seeing your email yet. Let me see here, chat. There it is. I got it. I will send you a link and some more information about that program.
Okay, I'll look for you on Facebook then too.
Awesome. That sounds great. Anything else I can do to support you ladies this evening?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here. Have a great evening and a fabulous week.
You too. Thank you.